folks, welcome back to another video and welcome back to the channel. I am just starting off this very random vlog. It's not going to be including much, truthfully speaking, because there's not much going on. One slightly exciting thing that is going on in this vlog is that I'm going to what's called the Microsoft AI Tour, and that's happening here in Joburg. And I got my little badge. Look at that. D. Williams. So I'm super excited. So I picked that up today because I was like, I don't feel like having to deal with it tomorrow because there's going to be crowds and crowds of people. They're trying to get their badges, and I just want to make sure that I have mine so I can just get in and move about the way that I want to. I'm going to take you guys with me. We'll see what it's about. They say to bring your laptop because there's some work. It's like a mix between workshops and keynote speakers and such. So I'm actually going to look at the schedule today, see what all is going on because there's a lot of stuff going on. Kind of pick and choose which things that I want to get to, prioritize, because it goes from 7 to 5, but I'm not trying to be. It's in Santon. I'm not trying to be in Santon for no like 8-9 hours. So I'm going to try to probably get there around like 10 o'clock and then leave by maybe 2 or 3, something like that, to give myself a good maybe 4 hours of sessions and workshops and such, and just kind of give myself a good experience. Hopefully I'll be able to film a little bit of it and capture as much as I can.
The opportunity to build on the existing infrastructure and enable the expansion and accessibility of AI for everyone is limitless. Microsoft has invested in skilling and capacity building through various employability programs. More than 4 million young people across Africa have been certified over the last 5 years, and we're committed to training 30 million more Africans in the next 5 years.
About transformative technologies such as AI that will literally change the African continent. I am delighted to have you here, and I want to let you know that we have this morning as well in our midst the SARS Commissioner, and this is not about your tax clearance, but I'm really looking forward to engaging with you in a fireside chat later on. And today, Copilot can address the needs for every single solitary role that you're looking at.
Beautiful day, let's go to the beach. We are in Johannesburg. Is there a beach?
No.
I am unaware of. Gold Beach, where are we going?
The park.
Nando's, the only right answer. Yes. Okay, so beach, I heard park, zoo, got it. Okay, beach, park, and zoo. Those sound like legitimate answers. Let's find out what the correct answer is. I'm going to set the maximum length of the answer to maybe 5 tokens, and we'll hit submit. It says beach. That seems a bit sus, as the kids say. Small models, and this is really, really interesting. I don't want to just have a relationship where the AI tells me to do stuff or it does stuff for me. I want it to be a tutor. I want to talk to it, and I want to basically have an infinitely patient tutor that I can vibe with.
The magic ingredient really is the grounding. And what do we mean by this? It means that Copilot has access to be able to make itself better based on the information on the web, or if you're a Microsoft 365 Copilot user, all of your work data.
Just want to get updated about the last month of information. And what Copilot can do is it can quickly search across the entire web and pull together a really quick summary for me, so I don't have to go searching for the information. Plus, it references it at the bottom, so I can click in to learn more.
For South Africa, and today I will be highlighting tips in terms of how you can implement Copilot Essentials. Which is on a website where you can go to adoption.microsoft.com/Copilot. There's a scenario library that has to do.
Hey folks, welcome back to the vlog. Just got back, well not just back, I got back from the AI tour maybe about an hour ago. I have just Microsoft everything up right now. To just kind of recap, I went to the Microsoft AI tour in Joburg. It was held in Santon at the Santon Convention Center. And it was convention, I guess, to talk about how Microsoft is utilizing AI in different ways. As we move into an evolving digital age, you know, AI and cybersecurity and all these kind of big buzzwords are going to be heard so much more, right? We already are seeing thousands of applications that dedicate their time and energy and efforts to utilizing AI in some capacity. And so it was just really interesting to hear from people at Microsoft and different people, I should say, at Microsoft who were using Copilot, which is Microsoft's like AI kind of companion application. Is kind of how they market it, like your companion, you know what I mean? Your work companion application. And how it kind of integrates with their other products like Word and Excel and all of that, and how different people from different departments utilize this tool. So it's really cool to see the different uses for it, especially as someone who has been in tech and wants to have a tech consulting company at some point, wants to utilize AI for various things. The thing that was probably top of mind for me when it comes to AI is accessibility, because we have so many people with so many ranges of different, disorders and diseases and things that kind of affect the way that they interact with the everyday world. Accessibility is going to become even more important as we move on and get more advanced in technology. So when I was waiting in between sessions, they had this video running. I watched it / listened to it, whatever, 4 times before the next speaker came on. But I thought it was the coolest thing, or at least one of the coolest things, because the things that they showed us was pretty cool. So I've got like Copilot up and I want to play around in it and do all sorts of things. But it was of this man who was diagnosed with ALS. And for those of you that don't know, ALS is a degenerative disease. So like eventually you lose control of your voice and your hands and your feet and your legs and stuff. And you become essentially a paraplegic. I believe that's what Stephen Hawkins had. Brilliant mind, of course, but obviously had physical challenges, because I don't want to say he was physically incapable, because he was more than capable. But anyways, so this man was diagnosed with ALS, and so of course that completely changes your course of life and everything, right? Because you were completely dependent on other people. So, I mean, this man is happily married, has a beautiful family and everything. And so he heavily depends on his wife and his family to, obviously help him and take care of him. The crazy, amazing thing was, so he's using his voice. Mind you, he's not speaking. He can't move his mouth or anything. But through AI, he's been able to use his voice in a computerized way to communicate with the outside world. He's able to use his voice with the help of AI to communicate with everybody, so it's great, right? But the crazy thing that totally blew my mind is that there was this woman who was a part of this organization called Team Gleason. Now, I don't know this was not the man's last name, but she's a part of Team Gleason, and I guess they've kind of been working with him to kind of humanize his voice and kind of almost bring him back to where he was before his diagnosis. So she was like, okay, I want you to say a phrase, and then I'm going to type it in to our thing here and play it back for you. So he said his thing. It's his voice, but it's computerized, of course. And then she played it, and it was so much more smooth. And every single time the video played, mind you, it had played 4 times in a row by the time the next speaker came on when I was in that room, tearing up every single time, because it was just, number one, you're seeing technology at work, and you're seeing technology at work for a really good thing. This man is now able to communicate in such a way that brings a little bit more emotion and more humanity to an otherwise very robotic application. So I thought it was really, really cool. Innovation to me is amazing. So it's really cool to see how people are using AI. I don't know if that particular instance is related to Copilot, but it was just really cool. So, and then we did a lab, a workshop thing that I actually want to do. I was only able to get through half of it before I needed to leave, but I'm going to go through it again because it's got some Python in there, and I've always wanted to learn Python, and I'm like, okay, I need to jump on all of this stuff now and not wait forever and a day like I typically do, because I'm the world's biggest procrastinator, and, get my ish together. So it was a very interesting, eye-opening, kind of motivating, inspirational convention. I was trying to network with people, and I don't know if it was because it was a lot of dudes, because I was just trying to engage with people who seemed relatively approachable, but it was why are you talking to me kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, either it doesn't matter what your reasoning is for not wanting to talk to me, because you don't have to talk to me. But I was just this is like kind of a networking event too, you know what I mean? Like it's not just about us being exposed to the different things that are happening at Microsoft, which is cool, but I think it's also an opportunity for us to network and to get to know people. And I just love seeing the mix of people in South Africa too, because, you know, people think Africa, there's nothing but safaris, spears, and tribal people. Like that's what we in the Western world are generally conditioned to think about an entire continent of 54 countries. And it's ridiculous because up until about 2020, I was thinking the same way. And it's unfortunate because as soon as you get over here, as soon as you meet the people, and not just South Africa, but any African country, you see just how beautiful the people are, how beautiful the culture is. In many cases, there are certain things that are actually, in my opinion, ahead of the Western world, especially like architecture in some instances, especially here. I feel like some of the architecture of like office buildings seems so much more advanced than the Western world, because the world has been conditioned to look at the African continent like it's a black hole that you would never want to visit. People kind of come to Africa late, unfortunately, but I think that we're kind of changing the narrative with that over time, which is beautiful. Truthfully, the person that I really wanted to network with was the president of Microsoft Africa, because she's an African woman. Not only is she a woman, but she's an African woman. And I was like, I need to talk to her. Like, I just want to talk to her and just like pick her brain and stuff. But I wasn't able to find her to connect with her, unfortunately. So maybe next time. Welcome back to the vlog. I am popping on here because I thought it would be kind of interesting, at least for me, to talk about my South Africa bucket list. Basically, most of the places that I want to visit, hopefully in the near future, mainly because of their feasibility. Yeah, let's get into it. So the first place that I really want to get to is Cape Town. Now, I want to get to Cape Town for several reasons. Number one is their Africa Tech Festival that they have every year. I had actually found out about this maybe just a few months ago, and it had just finished. So I was like, oh, what is this Africa Tech Festival? And why is it not in Joburg? Especially since I had just gone to the Microsoft AI tour, I'm thinking to myself, it just makes sense for tech stuff to come to Joburg and not necessarily like Durban or Cape Town. So I was like, well, let me just register for it. It's a free event, I believe. So let me just register for it. Kind of like, as the kids say, manifest, you know, going to the festival. That's the number one reason for the tech festival. The second reason is obviously because it's by the beach. If you guys didn't know, I grew up very, very close to the beach, very close to the ocean, to the water, whatever, in the States. I mean, the closest beach was maybe about 10, 15 minutes away. So it was very, very close. It was nice, especially when I was working from Jersey, when I was still living in Jersey. Sometimes for my lunch break, I would just go to the beach, get some fudge, or just go to the beach with maybe like a lunch or something and just sit on the boardwalk or walk the beach for a little bit. Hopefully not have to pay for a beach tag. If you know, all of that. So I want to try to get back to the coast. So trying to get back to the coast would be really nice. It was kind of a jarring experience moving to Texas. Let me take this off. Sorry if I'm looking crusty. I literally just woke up and I was thinking about this and I really wanted to film it. Don't mind me. I'm looking horrible. And my glasses keep causing a glare, and I think that's why the light keeps changing. You know, be able to see the beach and everything, but it was a jarring experience moving to Texas because it's essentially landlocked in a way. Not really, but kind of. Accessibility to the beach does not exist, right? When you live in Central Texas, the closest body of water that you're gonna get is Lady Bird River, whatever it's called. So, and then I also hear that it has some really beautiful hiking trails and just like mountains and things. Of course, I've heard about Lion's Head, I believe is what it's called, a very popular hiking spot, but that it's also, it's good to go during certain times of the year. Obviously, you don't want to go during winter time because it's going to be way too cold. Then going during the summertime can be kind of because you could go on an extremely hot day where all you're doing is just sweating your booty off. And the last reason why I want to go to Cape Town is the wine. Now, what's really funny is that I'm trying to kind of keep my drinking to a minimum. I feel like, but it's not like I'm completely eliminating it from my life. I'm just, and truthfully speaking, we don't really drink that much. I'm trying to think, the last time I had an alcoholic drink was probably New Year's Eve. Even then, it wasn't a ton because I saw him making the drink. And he put like a cap full of alcohol in my drink. So there was like barely anything in it that I could see. Maybe he put more in, I just couldn't taste it, I don't know. From what I could see, he didn't really load it up like Americans do when it comes to their alcohol. It wasn't like there was much alcohol. And then before that, I don't even remember the last time I had alcohol. It's probably a few months before that. So I don't drink very often, but it is something that, you know, I try to keep it arm's length. I love going on a wine tour, my boo and I love doing wine tasting and things like that. And I don't think we've gone on a wine tour. And so whenever you mention Cape Town to anybody, whether they're American or South African or any other kind of nationality, Cape Town always comes up in conversation as far as the wine and the food. Now, I've gotten mixed reviews about the food because there's some people that are like, oh, Joburg is so much better, and then on the other hand, Cape Town is so much better. So I'm the type of person that needs to experience things myself, so I'd rather just go there whenever I have the opportunity to, try the food, try the wine, do all the things, and experience it myself. So the next place that's on my list of places to visit in South Africa is Durban, okay? And truthfully, when I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, do I want to go to Durban more than Cape Town? I don't know. It depends on the day of the week. It depends on my mood at the time. Right now, Cape Town is number one, simply because of the tech festival situation. But the next place I'd really like to go to is Durban. And the reason for that is very similar to Cape Town, right? It's on the coast, it's by the water. You know, I'm a beach bum. I grew up on the beach. That's all I know. I know that there's a thing called Durban curry. For me, when it comes to food, that's where I want to go, is Durban. I've heard that there is a large like Indian population there, and Indian food is one of my favorite foods. Other than just like black food, like soul food and stuff, Indian food, number two. I love Indian food. I've never had bad Indian food. I might have had maybe one place that was like subpar. Every Indian spot that I've ever been to so far, obviously I haven't been to all of them, has been wonderful. But I hear that there's a very big Indian population there. So as far as that goes, I think that would be, as far as culture and as far as the food goes, I think it'd be really great. I also know that in KZN, that's where the Zulu folks are, and that's kind of like where they originate, I assume. I think, I believe, I could be wrong, you guys correct me. You know, I've got my 1% Khoisan in me, you know, so maybe I could meet some of my folks there if they're there. Durban, to me, when I think of Durban, I think of just like culture. You know what I mean? I don't think about, and I think about the black and brown people there, right? Like the Khoisan people, the Xhosa people, the Indian people, like all the different tribes of South Africa and the different dialects and different cultures, the different foods, just all of the different things that really make South Africa that beautiful and diverse. Just a really cool place that you would want to visit. That's primarily why. It's food, let's be honest. Your girl likes to eat. It's mainly for the food. But there are other things as well, like when it comes to KZN specifically, you guys know that we went to Drakensberg. We want to get back there ASAP. And hopefully we'll be able to have the opportunity to do that. You guys saw that Drakensberg vlog that I put out last year. It was one of the most beautiful places I'd ever been to in my life thus far. And I could have spent months out there. Like literally, I could have packed up 6 months worth of food, completely unplugged from life, from tech and all of that, and just spent time outside, hiking, swimming, you know, doing all of the things, because I love camping and I love being outdoors and really just being one with nature. I feel like that's a way of worship, you know, regardless of who you worship or regardless of what you believe in. I feel like when you're in nature, there's a spiritual experience that one has. It's inexplicable, right? Like you can't explain it. It's just a spiritual thing. I feel like when you're outside, you're immediately calm, unless you're getting bit up, of course, by like bugs and whatnot. Sometimes it can be less of a peaceful experience. But for someone like me who has roughed it, you know, with camping and done all sorts of camping and just loves being outside, it was a very spiritual experience for me. You guys know that it was kind of like a trip from hell for various reasons, but ultimately, when I kind of step out of that and step out of the situations that made it kind of, it was one of the most beautiful experiences that I had so far, and it's going to be really difficult to kind of match that, especially if I'm doing something that's very similar. Number 2 is Durban/KZN, because there are a couple things that I want to do there and things that I want to experience. And one of the last places, I'm only going to do 3 places, and if this kind of changes, we can talk about it in future vlogs. But the last place is Limpopo. Anytime I talk to any South African here, they're like, have you been to Limpopo? Whether they're from there or not, they're like, have you been to Limpopo? And I'm like, I have not. And in Mpumalanga. Now, I'm thinking of this stuff off the top of my head, so I can't remember which is like the province and which is like the town or the city or whatever. But I always hear to like go to Limpopo and go to Kruger. Of course, that would be the number 1 reason to go up there. is Kruger National Park. Photos that I've seen have been magnificent. And I'm just like, when can I get there? When can I get there? It seems like, I mean, the whole country just seems so beautiful. I mean, the whole of Africa just seems very beautiful. I kind of have the same thinking about it as I do South America, very mountainous, just gorgeous plains, just lots of culture, lots of amazing, interesting foods, amazing people, different tribes, different languages, just different walks of life that I want to experience. It's no different from KZN and where's Cape Town, Eastern Cape, when it comes to places that I want to visit. Kruger is like the #1 place that a lot of people tell me to go to. They're like, oh, do you like safaris? And I'm like, yeah, I love safaris. I love anything that has to do with being outside, with the exception of swamp or like things that have to deal with reptilians like crocodiles, alligators, lizards, and snakes. You can miss me with that BS, okay? But I love safaris. I love seeing interesting animals. I mean, my favorite animal is an elephant. So when we first went to, I'm trying to think if we saw a lot of elephants in Johannesburg when we first came to South Africa, or when we went to Lion Safari Park. I think it might have been Lion Safari Park where we got really, really close to the elephant, and I would have vlogged that. And if I mention any vlogs, I'll link them down below just in case you guys want to reference them and just check out what else was going on in those vlogs. The safaris are one thing that I hear about. When it comes to going to these different places, food is always #1. Like, I just want to eat the food because your girl be hungry and I like to eat. But I also want to experience culture. I want to learn about the different people that are there. I want to learn about different languages and all the things that kind of go along with those different cultures. I want to learn more and be more immersed in the kind of origins and the beginnings of things, if that makes any sense. But Kruger is like the #1 place that people tell me about to visit up there. They're like, oh, if you really want to have a good chance of seeing the Big Five, you need to go up there. I will kind of put a slight disclaimer out there that after this vlog, I'm not exactly sure how my uploading is going to be, simply because there are a lot of kind of big things that have affected me and my family. One day I'll talk about them, but they're big things that affect my uploads. So you may see more short form content because it might be easier for me to post about things that are shorter and don't consist of like a huge vlog, because there may be some things where we do things and the vlog is like a half hour long, and then there are other things where we may not do things, and some of those more interesting things may only be like 5 minutes. So it just kind of depends. I'm still kind of thinking through how to still stay consistent, but trying to navigate this kind of new situation that I'm in, just kind of going from there. So some but very difficult things that we're kind of experiencing right now that I haven't mentioned at all in any of the vlogs, but I just kind of wanted to put a little bit of disclaimer before ending out this vlog that the uploading may be a little bit sporadic. There may be some times where there may be some months where I don't upload at all, and there may be some months where I do upload every week, and there might be some months where I upload more than once a week. So it just kind of depends. But I think also kind of taking that pressure off of myself, because I am a perfectionist and I do want to try to stay consistent, is going to be something I'll be fighting with. But I have to kind of prioritize myself, my family, and like our mental health first. And so because YouTube is not my career, it's not my job, it's a lovely hobby that I have, it kind of gets pushed to the side. So just a little disclaimer, if you don't see me for a little bit, just know I'm okay. But that we're just kind of going through some big things that will affect uploading. But I'm gonna end the vlog there. I hope you guys loved hanging out with me, hanging out at the AI tour, getting to know what it is that's on my bucket list as far as South Africa goes. I have a couple other bucket lists for Africa and like even Europe and Asia and all different places. So I'll kind of dot those in here and there throughout the year. Let me know of some suggestions of places that you think my boo and I should check out, and I'll do some research, look into them and all of that. And then I'll link down below any vlogs that I mentioned and any of the places that I mentioned too on my bucket list. So thanks for hanging out with me again this week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.